Welcome back to Mcoc Al Bundy Girls. I have Chapter 2 of the June 2021 event quest, Bloodlines. So for those of you waiting for Chapter 2, apologize for delay. Had filmed this back on the day it was released on Wednesday. Tried to upload it Thursday. Completely corrupted. So I finished the other ones and had to refilm this one. So that's why Chapter 3 was up before 2. Healer Hide is going to be a note here. Every 12 seconds, defender gains regeneration buff. Attacker is permanently affected by passive heal block. Each time tech attacker inflicts power drain, power burn. Shock inflicts a shock passive, 5% of base attack. Each time defender is inflicted with shock effect, or when champion uses special attack, a separate shock effect, attackers gain a fury. Ooh, a lot of stuff to read. And at the end of defender special attacks, they gain the unblockable. So a lot of nodes going on as we've seen. I'm going to explain a little better as start getting into it. Just take a quick look at the path, take a look at the boss. I know this is a boss giving a lot of people a hard time. Life cycle, power alternator, so I'm going to explain this fight as well. So let's start going on the path. But so this is another easy path. So I originally did the least node easiest path first. Like I said, unfortunately my file somehow got corrupted. I just wanted to accept on YouTube, so I had to delete and start over, which meant re-film a new path. So going to be starting on here. So really what I want is tech champions that have shock is going to be the big thing. So preferably easy shock. There's some champs that have shock that you kind of got to work for it. I like the ones that have it nice and simple, like Hulkbuster. I simply parry heavy, which is his effective strategy anyways, and even more so here because I'm able to go ahead and get those shock benefits. So when I'm getting those shocks, it's helping me build up my furies. As we already see, I have 7 furies. So all those nodes, you don't have to go over every single thing. Just mainly understand, have a tech champion that can get shock, keep inflicting the shock, and the rest is going to be easy. So specifically here on Howard the Duck, I am going to be preferably baiting out his S1 because much easier to bait, and boom, down he goes. That S2 is a little rougher. So S1 is easy to dex, S2, yeah. So Howard the Duck, nice and easy, simple strategy. So keep shock debuffs on the defenders is really what you want to do, because if you got shock debuffs on the defender after the defender's attack special, it won't go unblockable. If you don't have shock debuffs on them after their special, they will go unblockable. Then you got to play all kinds of differently. So next up I'm going to do Guardian. He is decent, but he's not going to be perfect for these nodes, and at least not as perfect as the Hulkbuster, because of the fact he's not as easy to get those shock debuffs on the champion as Hulkbuster. You get those shock debuffs on command. And here, getting some damage going, launched out that S1. There we go. Got a little distracted there, took a couple punches to the head. And so the regeneration goes back and forth. So he's on unblockable now. So I got to be careful with the unblockable because the shock debuff wasn't on when it triggered. So I just kind of be careful. Also on this path, keep in mind the regeneration. Once you see the regeneration timer going, try to back away. That way it goes to you, even though you got a passive heal block. So don't think it's going to do much of anything, at least not much. It at least doesn't go to the defender. So if you're staying close when the timer goes down, it's going to go to the defender, and it can make the fight go a little slower. Ain't going to be make or break, but we do see that regeneration timer up there, so keep an eye on that. I see a Hulk, so why not bust him up with the Hulkbuster? That's what he's built for, right? So bringing in my Hulkbuster, again, same basic thing. I was too close to I wasn't paying attention to the timer, to be bluntly honest, and sometimes I forget about timers, so I was too close to the Red Hulk when that regeneration timer went down, so he got the regeneration. The timer's going again, so I'm trying to stay away this time. So the regeneration goes to me this time because I was far enough away, but as we see, I did not gain any health because there is a heal block. It's mainly to prevent it from him getting it. He got the unblockable because I did not have a shock on him. I backed away to keep the regeneration going on to him, which did not allow me to put on a shock, which then caused him to go unblockable. So these different timers and chain of events can lead up to things. So want to keep shock, but at the same time, if you got to back off for the regeneration, you're going to have to maybe make a choice. prevent him from getting regeneration, or allow him to go unblockable. So those are some things to keep in mind as you weigh out the options. I am trying to bait out his S1 because I do much prefer Dex in his S1 as opposed to the S2. And not that the S2 is bad, I just avoid, if I have a choice between a regular attack or a projectile, I'll take a regular all day, every day. Because projectiles all have different timings and where things, some are hard to see. They're like these tiny little blips going through. All right, so looking at long shot now, Apocalypse is who I am saving for the end. I have my 3 techs to clear the path. Sentinel I brought for the final, Apocalypse so I brought for the final boss fight. I also brought Cable mainly for the synergy for Apocalypse, so he starts off the boss fight with 4 fully charged, but Cable will also be a backup in case I am unsuccessful on that boss fight. So we see the unblockable. Again, it's a little bit harder to keep them, prevent the unblockables on the defenders with someone like Guardian, who takes a little bit more work to get those shocks going. Unlike someone like Hulkbuster, you can just stack him on up heavily and highly. I was too close to him, so the regeneration is going, so that's going to add a few seconds extra to this fight. Not the end of the world, but on the good news is I got a ton of Furies now, again from the nodes. And because when the regeneration is prevented, I gain the Fury on those shocks. So again, as long as you understand to keep shocks applied to them, specifically preferably around the time they have bars of power, that leads to them avoiding the unblockables and leads to you getting Furies. So that's really the key there. So any champs that sounds good for that can get that easy shock on tech, that's who you want to focus for these paths on this one. Moving on down, going to hit on off next to Professor X. Gonna go ahead and take a look at this guy. So I got my Sentinel. He's always nice against mutants, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my Sentinel against him. Logical match. And much like Hulkbuster, Sentinel is good for these fights because of the fact he can get shock easily just on parry heavy, as we will see right there. However, Professor X got to be careful because those falters, as we see right there, got dodged on that. Sometimes kind of get busy with all these different timers going. I got to worry about unblockables, got to worry about keeping shocks, and I got to worry about the regeneration. So a lot of things going on, and I might miss one of them at times. So that could include the falter. So trying to be careful on the timer. So I do see the falter ready. So I'm going to try to Dex's S2, go ahead, allow that to go, let the red go, and then go in and attack. But he does now have an unblockable as well, because I did not have a shock on him. Professor X just got a little bit more, and I just tried parrying there for some reason. It just hit me in my head, but that's okay, it wasn't too detrimental. So Sentinel did pretty well overall in that fight. Go ahead and make my way through so don't have to wait on energy. And as always, and occasionally people say, hey, you said item free. When I'm talking about item free, I'm not talking about something like energy, because I could just wait a few hours and make you wait longer for the videos. However, I'm talking about like the resources as far as getting through the content that makes it impactful, such as revives, health potions, boosts, things like that. I don't use any of those in my walkthroughs. So that's a lot to say, so item free is much quicker, especially when there are character limits on the video titles and descriptions, all that good stuff. So item free, future reference, I'm always referring to no revives, no health potions, no boosts, the things that a lot of people like to fill up their champs with to try to do little highlight reels that look cool. That's costing you resources. I don't want you to have to use resources. So now I'm using Sentinel. You notice I keep hitting into the block here as I get pummeled in my crotch area. Ouch, Luke Cage even headbutted me there. You gotta love the differences in height. It just leads to some, what Luke Cage was just doing to my Sentinel looks straight out ruthless. Anyway, So I'm trying to get my analysis charges up to 100, which I do got. Big way to do that is by hitting into the block. If you're not sure how I'm using or what I'm doing with Sentinel, I do have a tutorial on him, a little guide on how to use Sentinel. Always recommend mine on that. If you haven't not familiar with my tutorials, be sure to click on my champ tutorial playlist. I got getting close to 50 tutorials on there. Quick to the point. Unlike many others who spend 20, 30 minutes just being repetitive and just dragging them on just for the sake of eating up minutes for ad space, I get to the point. Get it done, show you what you need to know, and let you move on from there. And so let's get back into the fight as Luke Cage did a swing and a miss with his head, was aiming for my crotch again. However, he had butted the air, and then I made him pay for that, and down he goes. And now let us work our way over to the boss fight. So these nodes, they had similar nodes like this last event quest, if I remember correctly, made it kind of complicated. The way they stack, they put too many weird things into this to make it a little more headachy. But we got periphery. Both special attacks are blockable, both of ours. So remember that. That's very important to remember that your special attacks are unblockable too for the end. Your basic attacks do no damage, but special attacks 400% more damage. Obviously important. Flux dispersal. Each time defender is struck, they gain dispersal. So you're going to have to do heavies because after you 5% less damage. So if you got too many flux dispersals on them, they're not going to do any damage when you do a special. Life cycle, you just keep knocking them down. They can't have that up at the end of the fight. Otherwise, it's just going to keep resetting the power, then power alternator. So at the end of 15 seconds, if you have more power than the defender, then they're going to get your power. So you have to try to make sure it's easiest just to try to focus on S1s. Trying to do S2s is going to be bad because not only are you going to not get your special off and therefore not be able to get any damage on him, but then Blade's going to get your power, and that might bump him up to a special 2 or a special 3, which is ugly. So you really want to keep an eye on that timer. You want to keep your power lower than his, especially near that timer. And we see the timer, nothing happened because Blade had more power than I did. So I need to make sure I use my special before the timer goes back in. Keeping in mind that is how I'm going to do my damage. And I want to really bait on those S2s as much as possible. You see, just before the timer went off, I used that, was able to get it to S2, just barely timed it nice, did a lot of damage. Be careful if you use those S2s though, it could backfire. So Dex those S1s, I am trying pretty hard to make sure I do not push Blade to S2. All specials are unblockable for both champs. So if Blade gets to that S2, trying to Dex that, I prefer to Dex the S1, believe me. So I want to really bait out that S1. Again, keep it in mind, I'm also knocking him down every chance I get because you see that gray shield? It goes slower and slower to recharge each time you knock him down, because here you got to knock him down and then attack, but you can't do damage without special. So you need to build up to a special 1, knock him down with a heavy, and then as soon as that shield goes from purple to gray, make sure it goes to gray. Sometimes it takes a split second after you knock him down, so don't jump ahead of yourself. Watch, I knock him down, you see it is gray. Both specials are unblockable, so I didn't have to get him to do anything. I just went right in there, hit the special. Projectile specials even better, easier, quicker, and boom, there we go. So just get the shield so it's longer, knock him down with the heavy, have that special lock and loaded, and just even right through the block, you're good to go. So I'm hoping that helped you. Don't forget my other walkthroughs. My chapter 1 and 3 are already up on my channel, the walkthroughs. As we had 2-1, we're also going to go into 2-2 now. But don't forget about those others, also uploading individual boss solos little by little to help you if you need what you need. So we're looking at the notes here. Mystic attacker is needed. Power drain is going to be helpful. Regeneration is helpful. Siphoning strength each time Mystic. Power drain, power burn. Increasing attack rating gains Furies, and defender gains indefinite power protection passive, reducing incoming damage based on the variables there. So really, I want Mystic Attackers that can do Power Drain, Power Lock, Power Steal, that kind of stuff. I'm taking a look at that new champ over there. The boss, quick look at the nodes as we looked at the path. But we are going to look at that a little more thoroughly when I get there. In the meantime, let's work our way up the path. Again, just like on 2.1, I had already done a path on 2.2, try to upload it. Had the voice and everything all done. YouTube just would not accept it. It was saying my file was, something was wrong with my file. It just wouldn't accept. So after dozens of attempts, I finally just had to get rid of it and redo a lane for both 2.1 and 2.2 and redo the video so I can give you your completion walkthroughs. And so now what I'm going to start off with Doom. The big part on how I'm going to really get the good damage going to take advantage of these nodes is based on getting the power drain or power steal. So I'm going to get Doom up to S3 to when he can start taking their power, and that should give me a lot of Furies. And sometimes people say, oh, the champs use. I don't look, when I do my walkthroughs, I don't look at who the best champs are. I don't even pay attention to tiers, as most know. I think tiers are super overrated, super subjective. However, I do look at the nodes and who's the best fit. If I see it's saying Mystic Attackers and Power Drain or Power Steal is going to advantage, then guess what? Doom is going to fit in that category, as we see myself getting Furies there. So I'm not looking at who's great champions. I'm looking at who fits the criteria for those specific nodes. And for getting Furies off of Power Steal is something that's right up Doom's alley. So he is an easy automatic fit for something like this. Not because he's Doom, but because he fits into the node requirements. As we see, I'm already up to 5 Furies in addition to my 2 from those special 3. So got some nice damage and some more Power Steal, which got me another Fury. And now I'm just going to go ahead and tear that Superior Iron Man up. Boom, 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 down he falls. And God, I love the bottom of Global, seeing a little trolling going on down there. Alright, so now I'm going to go to Medusa. I was looking at Dr. Voodoo, but he can do some massive damage on these nodes with his poison. Medusa's poison immune, so there's going to be no point in using him here. So I'm going to go back to Dr. Doom. Again, I'm going to rotate my champs through so you can see how they can be used on these fights. Main goal here is trying to, again, getting the power drain is going to be the best. I have suicides on, so I'm not trying to, you could probably spam S1 to get Furies up quicker. However, I got suicides on. That recoil will eat me up, so I'd rather get to S3 as a way to start building up my Furies with that power steal. So I just need a little more there. Oop, I thought I had an S3, but I actually hit into auto block and I got my S2 block. So I just miscalculated my power right there and did an S2 when I thought I was doing an S3. That's what I get for getting ahead of myself. And now I take some S2 damage. Ugh. Notice when I make a little mistake, I get kind of distracted, and it always leads to multiple mistakes thereafter. But I don't make a silly mistake, it's all good. But they tend to go in like trios. Alright, I got up to my S3 finally. Go ahead and blow that hole through my roof. Give myself a sunroof, some extra fresh air. Notice I'm getting my Furies while I am stealing the power. Going to go and get back up to my S3. Going to allow me to get another Fury from that, but it's also going to allow me to steal more power to give me more Fury. So you knock out a couple S3s with Doom on these nodes, it's going to get ugly for the defender quick. So now I got my 2 Furies with my other 3 from the nodes. Up to 5 now. Go ahead and do that S2. Do some damage. You know what? I got another S2. So let us have some fun. Do another S2 and boom, boom, boom. Could have done another S2 had I needed to right there as well. So nice and easy. Doom is doing well on these fights, even with my recoil suicide mastery setup. Moving on now to Rogue. I'm saving Kingpin for towards the boss time. I'm going to use some magic here. So magic, big thing on here is going to be about getting to the S2 because the power lock will allow me to get those Furies. So I'm going to get to S2. I can play magic pretty similar to how you would normally play here, which is something that makes her really good here, even with suicides. I get up to the 2 bars of power, lock Rogue in the corner, and just start spamming S2. We'll see when I start spamming S2, I'm going to be gaining Furies, because I am getting that power drain, power lock, that gives me the Furies. So just simple sitting there doing S2 spamming. Again, as long as I get it with that limbo going on, that's going to help me not take too much recoil damage with suicides. And magic is very, very, very good for these fights right here. And she just absolutely ate through Rogue. Rogue didn't know what the heck was going on there. And now, trying to move on up. It is a little laggy. Let's go to the super stud of Mcoc, Iron Patriot. He is just in his own league. Too bad that own league is a league of complete uselessness, which I don't say that too often about champs, but maybe someday Kabam will give him a little bit of love. I'm sure he's on their short list by now. And I'm just trying some pairing, and it didn't go through, and I took a couple hits in my groin area. I don't know why all these defenders are attacking my groin on these videos lately. Anyway, not very cool. So big thing with Dr. Voodoo can be very perfect for these fights about getting to that S2, because then once I got that power burn, I'm going to keep gaining Furies. Notice I'm already at 10 Furies, just barely did that. So you get the S2, get those Furies, and then start doing the S1s. The LOAs aren't really stacking too good right now. Unfortunately, when they stack, I would be doing way more damage. However, still doing very good. So did the S2, and then just start spamming S1s from that point on. And down goes Iron Patriot. So Dr. Voodoo looking very nice, very sharp for these nodes. All three champs I brought to clear the path between Doom, Dr. Voodoo, and Magic are all very, very good fits for these fights. And now I'm looking at who I'm going to use. So I was going to use Dr. Voodoo, but with Ronin being poison immune, if I remember. Oh, I tried a Dex, and I just took a hammer to the head uppercut. Dexing has been kind of sticking for me last couple days for some reason. But anyways, on Magic, not a biggie. I'm going to do the same strategy I used for her in the previous fight, which is get him cornered, get that S2, and just go to town on S2. Start spamming S2s like nuts. And that's going to help me build up Furies very quickly. And it's going to keep him power locked, and it's going to keep him rather helpless. And we just seen those S2 spam going on through. Nice, nice. Get some more S2 love going on. Trying to get that going. There we go. There we go. And let's do some more. So we're at 8 Furies by now. Another S2, and down Ronin goes. So Magic is just eating through them. Boom, 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 boom. Down he falls. That's always a nice little thing. Moving on over now to King Groot. King Groot, for someone who's not the greatest champ for sure, can get annoying sometimes. So I'm going to try to power lock him and then get in my S1s is my goal. Have the poisons melt him. Start the attacks. Alright, I try to bait the S1 usually, because the S2 usually it's not too bad, but occasionally I'll kind of do like a little slip on the timing. And then if I get hit by the S2, it's kind of ugly. And speaking of hits, I just use my head to block several of his punches. Not usually the best strategy. As I got distracted, allowed myself to get to defender to 2 bars of power. Just talking about that, I missed the last part of the dex, got me distracted, went in and somehow got in. I don't know what happened there. I just got destroyed. That's when I know that was mistake after mistake after mistake. Like I said, I make one mistake, it always leads to at least 1 or 2 more thereafter for some reason. Mistakes follow the one. I could play several fights flawless, then the next fight 1 mistake, then I'll have like 5 more mistakes immediately thereafter. I think I get myself distracted. Alright, so gonna use Magic now to finish off what Dr. Voodoo failed. Well, I can't blame Dr. Voodoo. That was 100% me. And speaking of me, let me take some more punches to my head. I am very, very good today at using my head to block those clobbering fists of his. But good news is I got magic up to S2 now. So now it's going to look pretty much slides out for King Groot. If I can do what I did in the previous notes, then this is just try to get a little bit of revenge for Dr. Voodoo, who fell at the tree trunk of the King Groot man. And spamming that up, getting those Furies up, and this just got real for King Groot. And down he goes. He's not feeling so big now, is he? Could feel the earth shake when he hit down. Alright, let's get on to this boss. New champ. I did fight him once, like I said, my first path through, which I had to redo, unfortunately, due to technical issues. Looking at these, taunting each attack on the bar of power inflicted with the taunts. When I get taunts, when I get a bar of power, while the attacker is under the effects of taunt, their crit rating is doubled. So taunt is removed after launching a special. Additionally, if taunt debuff expires on the attacker, they are inflicted with the permanent stifle, lowering the combat power rate per stack. Each time the attacker is inflicted with a non-damaging debuff, defender gains the Fury. Attacker in for 6 seconds. Heal block, so you don't have heal block passive. Parries, stuns are gonna make contact. Hard knocks life as well. So going on, so I brought both Fury and Kingpin for this fight. Kingpin, I decided to go to use my backup. Decided to start off with Nick Fury. A lot going on, too many nodes. They're like, oh, forget. So I'm just gonna kind of go in there. I'm not too worried about Disorient. I can't think of much. I'm gonna need. I can't think that Disorient's going to negatively affect Nick Fury too much on this fight. I wouldn't think. So I'm just going to kind of ignore that. And I'm just going to kind of attack in. I'm going to primarily go for those 5-hit combos. I do have to be careful after the special attacks for the Overseer. Another version of Hulk, just what we needed, right? Because he gets that auto block stuff and can lead to a stun. So if you hit a second time while he's got that on, he's going to stun you and smash you possibly, or depending on your champ. Nick Fury might not get stunned on that, I believe, on his life. I'm trying to get out this S2. As really, I'm just doing the combos, doing the bleed damage. S2's easy auto block right there. So once you see that green auto block, just do 1 hit and back off. 1 hit and back off. If you try to do 2 hits, he'll stun you and punish you depending on which champ you're using. Some champs will be immune to that though. So we saw that S1 again Dex, we see the auto block on. You see that I went ahead and accidentally did a second attack. Thankfully, after the auto block, thankfully I didn't get stunned. I think it's because it was Nick Fury. Other champs would have got stunned. I did lose my decoy there, but not a big deal. Go in, use that S2, trying to get that bleed damage. I am watching his power. I am going to have to Dex this out. I need to bait him out. And thankfully his specials are pretty easy to dex, which is nice. And then go on there, watch out for that auto block again, just waiting for that timer up top to go. Auto block is still on, it's almost off. And now I'm just going to go punish. Only thing you really got to worry about using the strategy is waiting for the auto block, and down he falls. Pretty simple fight overall. As long as you're patient and remember that after specials. So I'm hoping this helped. Again, I have chapter 1, 2, and 3 of all the EQs already up on my channel. Have some of the boss fights, more boss fights coming up as well for the EQ for this month. Remember, I do these every single month, so be sure to click that top left icon and subscribe to Mcoc All Buddy Rules. Turn those notifications on. Be sure to like and share as well. You want notifications on because I got more EQ videos coming. Additionally, I do this every month. Be the first to get the walkthroughs and the notifications and see them. Thanks as always for watching.